Ronnie Shields says Morrell wants to fight Canelo, but of course, Canelo's not going to fight him. Wonder why? Let's talk.
Push the weight enough flex. The live is 1 in the 6. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan, Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Let's talk about Mr. Morrell right here. All right. Boxing scene link will be in the description. Ronnie Shields says Morrell wants to fight Canelo, but of course, Canelo's not going to fight him. The WBA hasn't ordered Canelo Alvarez to defend his super 168-pound championship against David Morrell Jr. The Cuban southpaw owns the WBA's world super middleweight title, and in accordance with the WBA standards, has earned, keyword there, earned his shot at one of the Mexican superstars' 4 168-pound crowns. A showdown with Alvarez is the fight that Morrell truly wants, yet he understands it won't happen at any point in the foreseeable future. Okay, I agree with that. Alvarez had surgery to repair his left wrist last week and might not be able to fight until September. Regardless, he has one more fight left on his contract with DAZN in Matchroom Boxing, whereas Morrell is promoted by Warriors Boxing and affiliated with Heyman's Premier Boxing Championship. Moreover, an opponent with 8 fights on his record, no matter how talented, represents high-risk, low-reward work for the 32-year-old Alvarez, who remains one of boxing's best pound-for-pound fighters. With David Benavidez and Caleb Plant committed to fighting each other next, Morrell, who's only 8 wins, no losses, and 7 knockouts, doesn't have an obvious opponent in the aftermath of his 12-round stoppage Saturday night against his mandatory challenger, Eidos Yerbosnuli. And I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name, and hope he gets well soon. He was in a medically induced coma after that. That was a hard, man. Whoa, I hate to see that. You know, but this is the sport, and this is what these men and women choose to do. And, you know, the coma was medically induced to save his life. And hopefully everything is okay. And he comes out of it. You know, everyone just should keep him in their prayers, man. You don't like to see this. This is a very hard sport. Which is why I'm so rough on people cheating in it. He says, I don't want him to get into chasing Benavidez or chasing Caleb Plant, Ronnie Shields, he told Boxing Scene. Benavidez is a secondary champion. Morrell wants to fight Canelo, but of course, Canelo's not going to fight him. It's up to the management. Like always, what's next, you know? And I've just got to come up with a game plan for whoever's next. Regardless, Shields is pleased with the progress of Morrell. He demonstrated class in this last fight. Morrell dominated Eidos on his way to dropping the courageous contender twice in the 12th round. If you saw it, it's on YouTube. Go have a look at it. I mean, it was savage, man. He stopped him with the right hand and the uppercut. Eidos got up, and Morrell celebrated, but went over there to help him. And it was just, fun fight to watch. But that end, being that we know what happened at the end, it makes it more brutal than what you see. And I just don't want, him to, perish. This is only a sport, man. It's very dangerous, man. The taller, younger Morrell patiently picked apart Eidos, who bled profusely from his nose, and it was mostly a one-sided fight. It was. 24-year-old Morrell finally dropped his stubborn opponent with a straight left hand in the 12th round. Eidos got up and fought until Morrell landed 2 left hands and a destructive right uppercut that left his battered challenger flat on his back, unable to continue. The guy's supposed to be one of the toughest guys David fought, but I knew the guy couldn't take the punishment, said Shields. He feels that David is ready. He says that Eidos started getting dirty, but they matched it. Look, This is my opinion. Dave Morrell, he's at the eye candy phase of his career right now. He has 8 wins, 7 knockouts, no losses. Is he ready for Canelo? I don't know, but if he's up next, he should be up next. Politics shouldn't get in the way of that. And I'm sure everyone agrees. When I scroll down and I read some of these comments, one fella says, come on, Ronnie, Morrell has 8 fights. And he's supposed to fight a championship. Well, guess what? If he's in line, then he's in line. Let me break the Lomachenko glass, y'all. How many pro fights did Vasily Lomachenko have before he got the title shot? How many pro fights did Vasily Lomachenko have before he had a loss? 2. Did you see the 2 fingers that Morrell is holding up right there? That's how many. Like, hey, Dave, how many pro fights did Lomachenko have before he took a loss? Oh, thank you. See, look at the picture. He knows. So I don't want to hear he's not ready yet. If he's next in line by way of what's on paper, do it. Hey, look, man. How about this? Because, there's people that are going to say, hey, man, everyone should be fighting each other. Stop fighting bums. Well, Morrell is early in his career, and he just fought a tough and dirty fight. So now he's next in line. No one said that the Vasily Lomachenko, he came in with the crown already. He got opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. And no one said anything. But give him a go. Stop ducking. Meanwhile, he's a duck. Franchise championships and all. 2 fights he lost, he didn't run it back. How about that? But here comes David Morrell. And he's legitimately in line. But Canelo has surgery. He's not going to be ready. And Canelo's on a pedestal as such where there is no light work for him. You see, that's the downside of being who you are in this sport. When you're at the top of the game, there shouldn't be nothing left for you other than hard work. Is he not undisputed at 168? Yes, he is. He went to 175 and it didn't work out. Now he's at 178. I'm sorry, I keep saying that. 168. He is undisputed. There is no light work. What do you mean? See, I read these comments. There was another comment down here. What did it say? What did it say? What does this guy say? Everyone wants to use the Mexican superstar's name. Must be working every time. Canelo can only fight one guy at a time. Well, stop right there. Stop right there. Yeah, he can only fight one guy at a time. He is undisputed champion. He has 4 titles in all four of those sanctioning bodies. There's number 1 contender, there's tenders, there's mandatories, because those are 2 different things. Once you got all the gold, man, you a marked man. There is no light work. It just says some guys in each sanctioning body might be better than the other. But there is no light work. You got 4 belts, which means you have 4 people on your tail. Number 1 contenders and mandatories. So if David Morrell is next up, I don't see what the problem is. I don't care about the amount of the amount of fights that a fighter needs to get a title shot. Boxing threw that ideology in the trash once Lomachenko went pro. I'll say it again. That ideology is gone once Lomachenko turned pro. I've never seen a guy had a red carpet rolled out for him like Vasily Lomachenko. Title shots after L's. Now you got champions running around, and when people are knocking on their door, it's like, oh, no, don't fight him. What has he done? Don't matter. If the guy's in the rankings and he's up next, he's up next. There is no... So what are these people really saying? So what? Canelo can only fight one guy at a time. Okay, so when he comes back, who's he fighting? He has 4 belts. Is he fighting? Okay, so this is the WBA situation right here. Who's he going to fight? Who's in the WBC? I haven't looked. Y'all tell me. Put it in the chat. Who's in the WBC? Who's a mandatory in the WBC? Who's mandatory in the WBO? Who's mandatory in the WBA? Morrell. Who's mandatory in the IBF? But y'all will protect Canelo and say, yeah, I'd rather see him go up to cruiserweight and fight MacBook Pro. Remember that? I ain't forget that. Y'all need to cut it out. If David is up next, he's up next. Get out your feelings. It is what it is. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Bronx on deck.